We've got our function block alarms on the screen. Let's go ahead and get to our SCLs. Better. And I'm going to just start laying out some generic structure for these alarms. So what do I want? I want if some condition, and if that condition is true, and we don't want the alarm to already be there, so not alarm, then, so we've got the condition and we don't have the alarm yet, then what are we going to do? Well, then we want to energize a timer. So we're going to drag that timer and let's pull a TON in here. And yeah, that's fine. Don't need to give it a big fancy name or anything. So the bool into this timer, we'll just make it true because it's actually the condition that's going to energize this timer. For preset time, we've got, we're going to have a delay, so I'll just call that delay. Our bool out is going to be an AT, so it's going to be some alarm trigger. And for elapsed time, we can just store this in, some generic place just to satisfy the timer requirement. So that should be fine. And end underscore if semicolon. Okay, so if we've got the condition for the alarm and not the alarm, then we're going to run this timer. And what else do we want? We want alarm condition and not timer. And I think we want one more thing up here, and that's going to be and not alarm reset. Okay, so alarm reset can also reset that timer. And other than that, we don't need to put a one-shot on here because with this logic, once this timer times down, it's going to activate the alarm. And because of this not alarm condition, the timer's not going to keep running and it won't be in control of our bits. So that should work. Next thing we need to do is actually set our bits. So if, and this is going to be our AT, so that's our alarm trigger, then we're going to want to set our alarm bits. So that's going to be alarm equals 1 semicolon and notify equals 1 semicolon, and if, and then we need some resets for these alarms. So if, we'll say alarm and alarm reset, then, and we're going to say alarm equals 0 semicolon and notify equals 0 semicolon, and if, and last, if notify and alarm silence, then notify equals 0 semicolon and if semicolon. Okay, so we've got 4 blocks here. The first one is going to energize our timer, and once that timer times out, we're going to set our alarm and notification bits. And those are going to stay energized until we have either an alarm reset or an alarm silence. And actually down here, let's put this in parentheses. It's going to be alarm silence or alarm reset. So either one of those can reset the notify. and the alarm reset will reset both. So actually, because the alarm reset is handling both right there, I really don't need to have that condition here. So yeah, let's go ahead and just get that out and keep it simple. Alright, so we're handling the alarm reset, which will get rid of both, and we're handling the alarm silence, which will just get rid of the notify. And I think we've got it. So that will be our template. Let's go ahead and take this and start turning it into our alarms. So I'm just going to copy that, come down here, paste it. Let's grab the alarm and all of those spaces. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we've got 7 alarms created. Now let's just start filling in the blanks. First one we've got is oil low flow alarm. And here we go. What's our condition? That condition is, let's see, we need to have the we're looking to have the VFD energized, the brake off, and oil flow below a set point. Alright, so a couple of different things. So condition 1 is, that's going to be oil pump VFD energized, and where is that guy? Energized out. And we want oil flow to be less than oil low flow set point, and not breakout, and not alarm, and that's going to be oil low flow, or oil low flow alarm. Okay, and let me just hide these instructions over here so maybe we can get a little more screen out of this. Just drag that over if it'll let me. There we go. So we've got a lot of conditions here, and if all of those things are met, then we're going to start this timer. And for our delay, we still need to have that logic that is going to move our delay times in here. So let's go ahead and set that up now. And I'll just come up here, somewhere up top. And what do we want to do? We want to take our oil low delay set point. So scroll down here, there's our delay set point. And we want to multiply that. So colon equals the same thing. So copy it, paste it in here, multiplied by 1,000. And then this is where we would pull in a move instruction. But check this out. When we go into move operations, you see we don't have our standard move available to us. But that's okay, because watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add a new block. This is going to be a function, and I'm just going to call this move, and I'll make it a function block. Hit OK, and let's simplify things. So we're going to come down here to move operations and drag our move right in here. This is always going to be true, and we're going to move in an IV, or I'll just call this int to make it simple, and we're going to move out a time. Let's define these. So actually it won't let me define those because, oh, the tag is a keyword. That's a word that already has a permanent meaning in the program. So I'll just put a 1 on the end of those. We've got a local in of type int, and we've got an out whoops, let's not double click that. Let's right click on that, define the tag, and out is going to be time, and let's set that as local out. Okay, so we could also add our multiply by 1,000 in here, and I'm tempted. Do I want to? Yeah, I think I do. So let's come into math functions, take our multiply, and let's just see if we can drop that. Well, it didn't let us put it where we want it, so I'll Control X that, Control V right there, Control X, Control V. So permanent energize this guy, connect to the 2. We're going to multiply by 1,000, and we're going to get out, we'll just call it TV for temporary value, which can be a local temp int, and we'll put that TV right into here. Okay, so instead of calling this move, now that we have changed its function, we will call it convert time. Alright, so now we know what we're going to use that for. Let's close out of that, come back into here, and instead of doing this multiplication, we really don't need that anymore. So let's delete that out, and let's pull this convert time and just drop it right into, actually we can drop it right into this function. So we're going to have a couple of calls inside of here if this condition is true. And to convert time, the first thing we're going to pull in is that set point. So we're looking for oil low flow delay set point, and our timeout, we'll just call that TI1. Right click on TI1, define it. That's going to be local temp time, and that's also going to be our delay, so we'll put that TI1 right in there. For our action taken, that's going to be our low oil flow alarm trigger. Right click, define the tag. That's going to be a local temp bool, that's fine. And let's copy that and paste that over here, because that's going to be our trigger where we set those 2 alarms. And we've got this T1 here, which we can just define as local temp time. We really don't care because we're never going to use that for anything. And now we need to create these alarms. Actually, those are already created as well. So we need our oil low flow alarm and our oil low flow notify. Let's make sure to get the low flow and not the high flow. Got it. And I'm going to copy that alarm and just paste it there, there. And let's copy that notify, paste it there, there, and there. And I think we've got our first alarm set up. So we've got the place where we energize our timer, that's our condition. Then we've got our trigger where we're setting our bits. Then we've got handling for alarm reset and the alarm silence. And I'm going to go ahead and put in a comment. So that's our oil low flow alarm. All right. And what's our second alarm we've got to do? So network 2, that's our over current. And all we're looking for here is for current to be over the set point. Easy. So let's get rid of all this space up here we're not using anyway. And over current alarm. And let's get into this. So we're looking for if current is greater than our over current set point and not our over current alarm and not reset. And let's replace out our timer. So drag a clean timer into there. Good. And our Boolean in, that's going to be true. Our time in, that's going to be our TI2. And let's go ahead and define that as local temp time. And let's see if maybe we can save some time on those. So we know we're going to have 7 of these temp times. Let's go ahead and add row 3, 4, 5. And we're going to take TI3, TI4, TI5, TI6, and TI7. So now we've got our temporary times, and we also have our T1. We're going to need some more of those. So T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, and T7. Okay, and I think that's all the temporaries that we're going to need to define. So that should have just saved us a little bit of time. We're actually going to also need to define our triggers, but we don't know what those all are off the top of our heads anyway, so we'll just define those on the fly. So speaking of which, this is going to be our OCAT, our overcurrent alarm trigger. Define local temp bool. And then our timeout, that's going to be our T2 that we just created. So that made that pretty simple. And here we go. Let's go ahead and space that down a bit and bring in our convert time to set our TI2. And our time going in, that's going to be our overcurrent delay set point. And our timeout, that's going to be our TI2. Okay, and let's get rid of some of this extra space. And I'll go ahead and put a space in between those two functions. That just looks a little bit cleaner, but I don't want one before my end if. I'm just being nitpicky, I guess. We're looking for that alarm trigger that we just created, so there it is, and that's going to trigger setting our alarm here. So we want our overcurrent alarm and our overcurrent notify. Let's copy that alarm, paste it into 2 places, and let's copy our notify, place that into 1, 2, 3 places. And it looks like we've got our overcurrent alarm all set up. Let's go to our third candidate, and that's going to be our high oil temp. And we're just simply comparing against a set point. Very easy. So high oil temp alarm. Condition is oil temp, I know it's down here somewhere, is greater than, not oil, but high oil temp set point, and not high oil temp alarm, and not the reset. And in that case, let's come down here and pull in our convert time. We're going to convert our high oil temp delay set point to our TI3. And let's get rid of that extra space there. Whoops, I think we deleted our semicolon. Got it. And we need to drag in a new timer here. So let's pull that. We like it. And our Boolean in is going to be true. Our preset time is our TI3. Our Q is our HOTAT, which we will define as a local temp bool. Our timeout is going to be T3, I guess. Yep. And whoop, it jumped on me. And our elapsed time, that's going to be T3. Okay, so let's get rid of that extra space there. Looks like we've got all of that time part set up. Good. Let's take our trigger and bring that down here. We'll take our alarm, punch that in 1, 2, 3 places. Let's look for our high oil temp notify. Copy that and make our pastes. Great, we're burning through our alarms. Let's get to that fourth one. Number 4 is overspeed, and looks like simple comparison again. Perfect. So let's come down here and create our comment. Overspeed alarm. Condition is RPM greater than overspeed set point and not overspeed alarm. And while I've got that overspeed alarm, I'm just going to make my paste and kind of jump around a little bit just so I don't get bored. We can delete out all of that and drag in our convert time. So our convert time is going to be our overspeed delay set point, and we're going to time out to TI4. And then let's come down here and bring in a fresh timer. And bool in is true. Our time in is our TI4. Our boolean out is going to be our OSAT, overspeed alarm trigger. And our timeout is going to be just dumb old T4. Let's right click that OSAT, make it a local bool, which I'll copy. Get rid of our extra space here and paste into our alarm trigger place. We need our overspeed notify, which we will copy and paste to complete this alarm. And next up is number 5, high oil flow alarm. I'll just copy that to be extra lazy. / Control V. Will you look at that? So we're looking for oil flow to be greater than high oil, and let's see, we don't have, it's not called high oil flow. What's it called? Maybe it's oil flow high. Yeah. Oil flow, where is it? High flow set point. All right. And not oil flow. Do we have a high alarm? Yeah, oil high flow alarm. We'll copy that alarm, paste it, and paste it. And all right. We've got all that. Let's delete this out and bring in our convert time function. We're going to convert our oil high flow alarm delay set point to TI5. We'll bring in our timer here. Our in is going to be true. Our PT is going to be our TI5. Our Q, this is HOFAT, high oil flow alarm trigger, which is a local bool. Timeout is T5. And let's just backspace to get rid of that extra space. Copy our trigger. Got it? Whoa. Control Z. It jumped around again. Imagine that. Let's jump back down here. Try again. Control V. And oil high flow. Ooh, okay, where is it? Oil high flow notify. There it is. Copy, paste, 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 and let's move on to our 6th. We are slowly but surely making our way through this. We've just got brake alarm failure and e-stop left. So for this brake alarm failure, we're looking for RPMs to be over 0 and the brake to be energized. So let's start with our comment. Condition is we want our brake out and RPM greater than 0 and not our brake failure alarm, which is right there. I'll go ahead and do my copy and paste on the alarm. And let's clean that out, bring in our convert time function. We're looking for our brake failure delay set point, turning that into TI6. Let's pull in our timer, and that's going to be true. Time is going to be TI6. Our out is going to be BFAT, brake failure alarm trigger, and timeout is just T6. Define our BFAT, local temp bool is good. Get rid of our extra space. Copy our trigger. Paste it into the trigger location. And hunt down our notifies. So that's brake failure notify. Copy. And let's knock out our pasting. Paste. Paste, paste. Now, here's a problem. I'm down at the end. You know what? It looks like I skipped one right up here. So let's just Control X to snatch that out of there. Come back down here to the bottom. Control V to paste it in. Dress up our spacing a little bit. And e-stop alarm. So we know we do not need this time right here. Let's delete that. We are looking for if e-stop and not e-stop alarm, then we're going to set e-stop alarm and e-stop notify. Oh, and do we also want to look for, do we also want to put this on a one-shot or anything like that? I don't think we need to, because the e-stop alarm, you really don't want a lot of complications on, so I think we can just leave it like this. And here we go, e-stop alarm. Well, I'll just copy and paste that. And then our e-stop notify. Got it, got it, got it. So even if someone hits alarm reset, they're going to get rid of the e-stop alarm while they're holding the button in. But once they let go of the button, it's going to pop right back. So no time delays, no playing around. That's that's the most serious alarm you can usually have. And we want logic that treats it as such. And I think we gave it a good treatment here. So just glancing over everything, I think we've got it.